another fun Monday morning of role playing. And
Mm-hmm.
what I want you all to think about is your business in a more infinite game concept. And the infinite game we've talked about. Look, real estate's a game. It just keeps going and going and going. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. New players come in, other players drop out. So the thing to make most sense for all of us is how do we incrementally get better and master skills over time, or over a stipulated period of time, we become masters in all the things that we want to know how to do. So is anyone tracking their conversations now? Okay. Well, this is a good place for us.
You mean tracking them on the CRM? What do you mean?
No. So you go to an appointment. Can I use your scenario that you had emailed us about here?
Yes, yes.
So Amy went on an appointment and did really well in the presentation. And the people said, I would prefer also to work with a local broker. Now, whenever somebody says that, you're going to get that question essentially more than once, correct? It's never going to end, especially for people that work in multiple geographic areas. So you should have a place where you write this down. I would make like a spreadsheet that says key conversations, and I would put that one down. You know, I want to list with somebody for 1% less. That's another conversation. I have a friend in the business. I want to use my old agent. Whatever these things are that come up, it's the same stuff year after year after year after year. Think about how many, who's here been in real estate more than 5 years? Raise your hand. 10 years? The people that have been there 5 years have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the people that have done it 10 years have lost God knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you're starting out, you probably lost about $100,000. Because if you're unable to answer these questions because you haven't thought about it differently, you're going to lose money. You should not lose out on the same questions year after year. That is a personal choice. Now, I'm realizing that I'm the only person that's telling you this, so therefore, like, plausible deniability is officially over in this moment. Because the reality is you have a place every week where you can get an answer to any of these questions. You have a community of people that you can practice with all the time. So there's no reason not to master this. The goal that all of us should have between now and the end of the year is mastering as many of these conversations as we can, one by one, so that when these things come up, we win. Because here's the thing. If they're asking you this conversation, they're asking generally the other people. Now, in Amy's case, if she's pitching against people like here in Fairfield County, there are a lot of people that specialize just in Weston, just in Westport, just in Fairfield. So you need to understand how to pitch against that. You need to understand how to frame the conversation that a marketing plan is more important than how many homes you've sold in an area. Because that's just one piece of it.
Mm.
Great, you know the local market, but how are people going to get there? How would you search for homes? When you're looking for homes as a buyer, are you looking for the person that sold the most homes or the home that really speaks to your interest? Like, these are actual just conversations. So when you start thinking about this, we want to be a lot more strategic with this. And if we're able to be more strategic with this, over time, we make more money. The one thing I can say, like life, death, taxes with certainty, is the majority of real estate agents on earth will never think about this because it's not a shiny penny. It's not really exciting. There's no quick ROI. It requires discipline, consistency, patience, and ultimately the last thing of knowing what to say. I believe as a community, we have the best talking points that you can find out there, because they're authentic and they help another person get what they want. And that's your job. So going forward, track everything. And remember, from my perspective, the sole purpose of data is to be able to make future decisions off of it. At the end of the year, for the majority of these things, if you're really putting 30 minutes a day into role playing, you should be able to master all these conversations, because there are not even that many of them. Like, how many of these conversations really are there? And then the question becomes, where are you spending your time or investing your time? Because if you invest your time in the right places, this is the greatest ROI that you'll be able to find. Not playing on Instagram and not doing any of these things, other things that people think are great ideas. It's not. If you don't know how to talk to people, especially when this NAR settlement hits, you're going to lose money. And if you do know how to talk to people, you're going to be able to print money. Think about it in any business that you go into, whether it's a belt, a shirt, a pair of jeans, shoes, suits, dresses, hotel rooms, cars. They all do the same thing. The way that they package, position, promote, and are communicated to other people is the difference. The more clarity you can create in a conversation for the other party of what they get for the money that they get, the money that they invest, the more valuable your service is. All right, so who has a conversation that's come up in the last week that they'd like to role play? I know you all talk to people every week. Okay, this is where I start to get concerned.
Chirag, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I love your accents. It just got better.
Thank you. So not really not a settlement, but I have a bit of a tough conversation that I'm expecting this afternoon with a seller in Hoboken that we haven't been able to move the property, and they were kind of expecting it to be sold after the first weekend. We've had 4 weekends of open houses, almost 50 parties through, and a couple of lowball offers. And they're not ready to lower the price point, and the location is the pushback. So help me defend myself, please.
Well, you don't have to defend yourself, right? So remember, part of this goes back to the beginning, right? Of you control, I control, no one controls. If you don't set that framework from the start of the conversation and the partnership, this is the output, right? Can either one of us control the offers that other buyers are willing to make on your home?
No.
That's the line, right? So I would, if you're the client, right, I'd say, listen, so from what I understand, I just want to repeat back some of the things that you shared that are important as a starting point to our conversation. Would that be okay? Go ahead, Lisa, you can play along and be your clients.
Well, we kind of expected that it would have been sold, and it's been 4 weeks of open houses. What do you want us to do? Like, what do you suggest we do?
We see you notice that I would repeat back. I asked you that can I repeat back a few of the things that you shared so I can make sure I heard all of the important talking points as a starting point to our conversation. So you would say, yeah, of course. I know that what's that?
Yes, of course. Sorry, I wasn't being an active listener. Yes, of course.
Okay. See, there's a good example. There's listening to respond, right? So she heard but it's a great example. People hear what they want to hear because they just want to respond, right? So we're going to say originally, did you see this person?
Not really. Not really. I admit I took it for granted. It's our third transaction together. They've bought through me twice, and they've become different people as sellers, I have to say.
Well, look, there's a saying in life, nothing becomes a problem until it's a problem. And that's why you always have to prepare for a problem, right? So if you skip these, well, you could not have been a better person because there's so many different great things we could take out of this. So out of your challenge, everyone's going to grow. So thank you. And we can all thank Lisa too. Number one, I don't care who it is. It could be your mother selling their house. You see them. Because if she seed them, we'd have stuff to go back to. If we did the you control, I control, no one controls, they would not be blaming you for this because they would identify that you have no control over this, right? So I would say I would repeat back to them. So what I understand is, where are they moving to?
So they've already bought. They moved to something big around the corner. We closed last month. They moved early May.
Got it. So I'm going to say, look, just want to go back and I'm going to say really what the motivation is not being able to carry two mortgage payments. The expectation is that it would have been sold in the first weekend. The disappointments you have right now is that we've had 50 plus people through here and you haven't had an offer that you're excited about. And your concern is, what do I do now? Because we need this property to move. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
I'm gonna say, great. Can we align on one simple concept before we figure out what we're going to do moving forward?
Sure.
Would you agree that as the owner, there are things that you can control, things that I can control as the agent you've chosen to partner with, and things that ultimately neither one of us controls? She's going to say yes. Can you control the price at which you put your home on the market? Yes. Can you control the condition? Yes. Can you control the terms? Yes. And you got to ask and let them say yes. And ultimately, can you control the accessibility, how easy and difficult? Yes. What can I control? Can I control the visual story we tell of your home online? Yes. Can I control the marketing, advertising, and execution of the marketing and the marketing plan, the advertising plan, ultimately the execution? Yes. Can I create those in a compelling way that gets people to come to the property? Yes. Can I control the negotiation strategy when we have an offer? Yes, when we have an offer. And lastly, can I control the communication, ultimately giving you the exact information in the time that works best for you? Yes. Is there anything else that I can control as the agent? You need them to say no. Can either one of us control the global market, the local market, interest rates, the stock market? Can either one of us control the prices your neighbors are willing to accept for homes? No. Can either one of us control the offers and the amount that other buyers are willing to pay for your home? No. So would you agree it's a partnership of what you can control and what I can control? Yes. And they're ultimately, and then you're going to say, so what do you think? Now play along and be your clients.
We don't know what to do. We want to get it sold, and we thought it would sell.
So look, the good news is that we've had 50 different people come into the property. So there's definitely an interest in the property. Now, if people are coming to the property and not making offers, why do you think that is?
The location.
It's the location. Now, is that something either one of us can control?
No.
No. And you're going to say, well, what can we control?
What can we control? The price?
Yeah.
I don't think I really don't think it's the price point. We priced it where we thought we were positioning it that we would land up with multiple offers and way over ask compared to what else is on the market available with what this building and this unit has.
Great. So you had shared, so originally you had felt that it was the location that was something that neither one of us control. We have 50 parties coming through here. So clearly we agree that the visual story, the marketing and advertising are working, correct?
Correct, yes.
And again, we'll go back to the same thing. Can either one of us control the prices that other buyers are willing to offer for your home?
No.
So we have several different choices, and whatever you decide to do, I support you 100%. Number one is we are getting into like the spring summer market, so we continue to wait to see if we get the right offer. The second one is we could look at the potential of renting the property and revisiting a year from now. The third option is we can improve the price to create a better value in the eyes of the buyer in hopes of getting a better offer than the two that we've had. Which of these three options works best for you?
Renting. Because we've already had this conversation, like I'm predicting which way it's going to go based on this. Yeah.
You don't need to do it. You got to remember, you have to give them choices. You don't want to tell them anything.
Right.
Right? You need to present the information in an objective way. And do you notice, everyone, how I presented this, where literally they can't blame me for the property not selling?
Yep.
If not, our inkling is, as human beings, is to defend our work. Well, there are people coming and this is like this and this is like this. Well, look, if 50 people came and 50 people have the same conclusion, what do you think it is? Do you think it's we can revisit the marketing and advertising. Do you think there's anything we can improve in the pictures, the copy, and everything else? The answer is no.
Okay. I have my material. I will be studying for my 6 p.m. call today. I do want to just really, Chirag, say thank you to you. I used one of your catchphrases, buzzwords. It really resonated with them. After a week that we hadn't had movement, I felt that they were getting uncomfortable. So I said to him, I said, Nick, why don't we put together a predictable communication plan? What are you comfortable with? And he said, I actually want to speak to you every day. I said, okay, that's what you want. I hear you. So I will speak to you tomorrow evening. And the fact those 2 words, predictable communication, were like a safety blanket for them. It's amazing how it just gave them calm and confidence. So thank you.
But the question is why does someone want to talk to you every single day, right? I would not, I would say, great, what specifically is important to you about us talking every single day?
Well, he just wanted to hear whatever the showings were. And some days there was just, I'm phoning to say, hi, no news to tell today. And there was like twice that he said, okay, we don't have to talk tomorrow. We can talk in a couple of days when you have news. But the fact that I was responding to what he had asked for made him feel comfortable.
Yeah, and also you have to remember this, giving people piecemeal day by day where you're not putting all the information together is actually really bad for them, because they should be making decisions on the macro data, the amount of showings, the showing feedback, changes in the market, results of your marketing. Those are 4 factors that all go in at once, right? What he's really saying is, I would share to him, look, what I know in my business is when people want to talk every day, that they have a concern, that they could be a bit anxious because this is really important. I would be doing a disservice to you by giving you piecemeal information, because you're going to be making decisions on 1, maybe 2 data points, not all of them. This is the large financial asset, and the right way to do this for you is to go through once a week all of these different things. You can put all the showing in like one Google Doc, and every time there's an update, just send them the Google Doc and say, hey, I've updated this from last showing. We'll go through this together on our weekly call, and you schedule a time.
Right. Well, normally we go through the insight report on a Tuesday.
Well, you should go through the insights report, the amount of showings, the results of the showings, like the feedback. Also, this is another good opportunity to explain to people. No one explains showing feedback to anybody. As a buyer's agent, I didn't care to ask my clients for feedback, because why do I want to take somebody else's time to share relevant information to a bunch of listing agents? Martha, thumbs up. So here's the thing. Why do I want to do that? If you're calling your buyers, asking them for feedback to give to the other people, that is bad. I'd be very clear with that. I'm going to take like a clear line in this stance. Don't take time out of my day when I chose you to buy a house to share information to help a bunch of other people. Why would I want to do that? And if I'm buying a house, why do I want to spend my time doing that? Anyone want to explain that to me? Logically? Sharon.
So for me, I don't call my clients later on. I ask them for feedback about the home when we're done showing, just so that I could get a better idea as to how it does or does not fit with what they're looking for. So it's not necessarily for the selling agent. It's more so that I'm getting better educated about what they're looking for.
That's for you, right? That's for
Right.
them. Right. So at the end of every showing, if you have a plug note, you should be hitting the plug note and saying, hey, just want to organize I wouldn't even say feedback. I would say organizing your thoughts and feelings and considerations, whatever words you want to use. What did you love most about this home? What was a deal breaker on this home? Is there any additional information you want on the home, the market, or the community? That is very succinct, right? And you have to make things make sense to people and say the goal of this is every time we go to a different property, it's an opportunity for us to fine tune your search. So there's a difference between looking at properties online and like actually physically going through there. What we know from the past is someone could have an experience in a house and all of a sudden see something that they weren't even interested in and connect with them personally. And now they want that house. Right. So if you feel like sharing because what does an agent really want to know? Like, was the house priced too high? That's the only thing they really want to know. Like if you have a house that has great updates and stuff, oh, beautiful house, great layout. Look, I think the professional landscape of this is going to change, and it has to change. And we need to explain to people, because the invention of the Ring doorbell, I think, is the bane of the existence of every real estate agent. They see people leaving their house. Rob, you got feedback? Sharon, you got feedback? You got feedback? Like an agent showing somebody a property is interested in real time being like, okay, Chirag, like this is what my client didn't like. Tell your client that they feel that the price was too high and they can move these things around. Like that is just crazy. And if you're investing money into a service, the only person that you want the service to be about is you. Especially if it's a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 service. This is like the best scenario ever, because we're able to hit like so many different points in one. Does this make sense to everybody? Right. So if she did the Med C, if she did the you control, I control, Lisa, when you listed the property, unmute yourself, did you feel that it was going to have an issue selling at this price because of the location?
No, I didn't. Now I understand the issue for many people with the location. I didn't really think about it.
What is the issue?
The issue is there's affordable housing in the next row, and for a lot of people that's an issue.
And how much is this property selling for?
Just it's listed at $999.
Yes, somebody spending $1 million, generally speaking, does not want affordable housing a block away, right, wrong, and different. Right, so you buy a house in $1 million neighborhood, you're expecting to be in a house full of $1 million neighborhoods. So in this case, right, but you can't say this, right, because there's all kinds of laws and stuff about this. And I'll give my disclaimer, I'm not acting in any kind of licensed capacity or anything in the information that I'm sharing. I'm not a lawyer, nor am I giving legal advice. So there is my disclaimer in this. But look, there's a reality of life that goes along with this that we can't really talk about, that we should be able to talk about. So
sorry, Chirag, what I have done, and this is what I've always done, regardless of what area, I've landed up being in with buyers, is come back early evening and walk around the block. Because I don't point it out. And the positioning of this particular penthouse is it's east facing on the opposite side of the building. There are no views of the affordable housing. You can't see it, you can't hear it. And if you never go up Jackson, you'll never see it. But it is there. But I don't understand, and I must be honest. Like it compared, especially when we positioned it, there was nothing else on the market that had deeded parking, that was under $1 million, that had 2 ensuite bedrooms and 2 outdoor spaces. It was well positioned. Sound very defensive.
So have you spoken to any of the agents?
Yes, and the feedback has been it's the location.
Okay, so what you have to say is, based on the feedback that we've gotten and the amount of people, the data that we know is people feel that the price in correlation to the location isn't a value in the eyes of the buyer. Don't say the words too high. What do you think? Honestly, if I'm looking at this based on the stuff, if they're in a position, I would just rent it, because renters really, it could just be much easier to do. So I would tell her, like, look, while we continue to get this price for you, like, we'll keep working towards it. Why don't we put up a rental listing as well?
Right, and the value of the outdoor spaces as the weather is, we're at the beginning of the season, but a month, a month, 6 weeks from now, it's not going to be that valuable.
It's not going to be nothing. It's just Danielle said the same thing. I have a similar situation. We got a UC, I don't know what that is, or under contract for 389 in April, and it appraised. Now we're at 360, and every showing says we're overpriced. Certain things are what we call a race to the bottom. If 50 people came here in a low inventory market, because if you're in New Jersey, there is no inventory. The price is there and the bidding wars there are nuts. So if you can show data that what has anything else sold in this location?
Yes, a unit sold last year. Doesn't have outdoor space for 940. Same.
Okay, so is that outdoor space worth $60,000 to somebody, right? And then the second thing is, if people have concerns about fair housing, outdoor space might be even more of a concern. Right. So look, you're going to say, neither one of us can control the offers that other buyers are willing to make. So at this point, we have three choices. We can continue to wait to see if we get an offer as the marketing's still working and there's limited inventory. We can put up a simultaneous rental offer with like a hard cutoff date of when somebody would take occupancy, or we could improve the price.
Okay.
But don't get yourself in this tongue-tied it's up, like that's not what you do. You don't control any of this. And the second you start coming from a place of defending it, guess what? You are now the punching bag. It is all your fault.
You froze there for a minute. What did you say?
I said, if you start defending this and explaining it to people, you are now the punching bag. It's your fault, right? So if my kids did something stupid and I start defending them, the people are going to blame me. And now I'm in this combative situation fighting for my kids.
Right.
When in the end, what my kids do, I don't control, right? As a parent, there's a certain responsibility I have to their actions, but you don't have any responsibility. You don't own the unit. You don't control the buyers. You don't control the comps. You didn't build the fair housing complex a block away.
Thank you.
On that note, we're going to wrap up. We have 1 more minute. So action items for today is number 1, you need to document these conversations, right? So this is another great scenario to document. Like, I priced the property at the place that I thought I needed to. We got a ton of showings and no one's making good offers. What do I do? And a lot of this is in this, I'd reflect back and be like, yeah, I need to make sure to med C and do the you control, I control, no one controls. Make sense? All right, everybody, love my heart. I love you all. I will see you at 11:30. Come back at 12:30. There'll be a whole different scenario. And please start documenting your conversation. And just remember this last quote, no amount of marketing will sell an overpriced listing. And if marketing sold things for more money, something from Hermes would be $1 million. Right? All right, everyone. I'll see you later. Bye.